Welcome to the Bleav Podcast Network SoCal Sweat. My name is Anne McDaniels, a former NFL cheerleader and product manager turned actress and model who dreams of being a UFC fighter. Meow. Learning strategies to help motivate others leads me to bring you interviews each week from a range of athletes, experts in fitness and nutrition, and so much more. Thanks for listening to Bleav, the #1 podcast for working professionals, and let's push our endorphins to higher performance through SoCal Sweat. This is your host, Anne McDaniels, and welcome to the 5th episode of SoCal Sweat. Recently, I watched the fascinating documentary on Netflix called Game Changers. The Game Changers is a new film executive produced by James Cameron, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Jackie Chan that documents the explosive rise of plant-based eating in professional sports, mixing real-time, groundbreaking science with cinematic stories of struggle and triumph. The film showcases elite athletes, special ops soldiers, and visionary scientists. It takes us on a journey that exposes outdated myths about food that not only affect human performance, but the health of the entire global population. Now, I wanted to bring on a vegan chef to tell us a little bit more about the vegan lifestyle, food, how it can heal you, how it can increase longevity. And you may have seen on season 10 of the food truck race on the Food Network, SolFoodCollective, who in the very first episode, her corn on the cob, or the group's corn on the cob, beat out meat and cheese for the very, very first episode, and they did really, really well. And this is one of the first vegan trucks on the great food truck race that had done so well. So the owner of Soul Food Collective in that food truck race is Jacquelyn Jones. Jacquelyn started her journey in health and wellness after she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease called ankylosing spondylitis, also known as the bamboo spine, in 2015, and used food as medicine to reverse her symptoms. Before changing her way of eating, her disease progressed, leaving her unable to walk and in need of constant care. After getting her diagnosis and being treated with medications that didn't work, she was told chemotherapy was in her future. Well, she decided to take matters into her own hand and adopt a vegan lifestyle. Within 6 months, she was able to walk again. She was pain-free for the first time in 20 years, and she was living the vibrant life she'd always envisioned. She wants to take her experience, knowledge, and love of food to help others overcome their struggle with health and get on the road to recovery. And I introduce you to season 10, Great Food Truck Network Race, Soul Food Collective, Miss Jacquelyn Jones. Jacquelyn, congratulations on how well you guys did on season 10 of the food truck race. How was that for you?
Oh my gosh, it was such an incredible experience. I couldn't believe it. I thought for sure we were going to go all the way. You have to watch and see what happens. It's a very touching episode for sure. But I couldn't believe it. When he said that we won, my friend jumped up at first and I was just like, what? That's impossible. But then I'm like, no, it's not impossible. Of course we won.
But you beat Nola, which won the whole show, correct?
Yeah, I think we beat him out a couple other times as well. That we are really good friends. We talk all of the time. Actually, today is Anna's birthday. But yeah, Nola's great. But yeah, we beat out a lot of people, and they were just like an ear of corn. They couldn't believe it.
Well, you had the lemon crema. Oh, it looked absolutely fabulous. Yeah. And you also forfeited money because you didn't believe in serving anything but vegan, correct?
Yeah, 100%. You know, I'm very much food is medicine, but I'm also an animal activist and care about the environment. And for me, it was, there will be no animal products whatsoever, nothing, no cruelty. It's a cruelty-free truck. So that meant that we had to forfeit a couple challenges, but it was worth it to me because there's no way for any amount of money that I would ever kill a living thing for financial.
Well, you stuck with what you believed in. Very impressive, and you guys did very well. Now, Jacquelyn, I want to ask you, I was looking at your bio, and it sounds like you became a vegan because you had an autoimmune disease called ankylosing spondylitis. What was that like, and what were the symptoms?
Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I had like chronic back pain for 20 years. And because I have a little bit of scoliosis, every single MRI always showed that it looked like I had a herniated disc. So for years, I was diagnosed with a herniated disc. I was in therapy. I was getting injections. I was doing all of these things, and it just kept getting worse. And to the point where I ended up in a wheelchair and couldn't walk anymore. And the pain was so severe. I was always getting very ill, like throwing up because the pain was so severe. And it just got to the point where I'm like, this can't be right. So I went to a rheumatologist, and she told me that I had ankylosing spondylitis. We started treatment, and I was actually allergic to the drug that they put me on, lost my memory, a bunch of other things happened. And I had heard about, you know, like in India, they use a lot of turmeric for inflammation. And I didn't know anything about being vegan whatsoever. I didn't know anything about what food did to our bodies, good food or bad food. It was just, I ate, and that's what I did. So started doing a little research, and I told my doctor, she said, you know, our next step is chemotherapy for you, just a low dose of chemo treatment. And I thought, there's no way I'm going to do chemo. Like, let me at least try a vegan diet. So I did a ton of research, and that's when I really got into researching what plants did what for our bodies. And I couldn't believe what I was reading. I'm like, okay, I'm going to test this theory. And I did. And just in 30 days, I lowered my inflammation and got out of my wheelchair. I always cry when I talk about this stuff, sorry. But in 3 months, I was able to finally sleep through a night. I was only getting 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night, and I was able to sleep through the night. I was sleeping for 8 hours. I could get out of bed and put my arms above my head and get ready, where that wasn't even an option for me before. And it would take me like 45 minutes to get out of bed. And just by eating plants, I completely reversed all of my symptoms. I balanced my hormones. I lost 40 pounds due to a hormone imbalance. And I completely changed my life. And then, you know, I found out about yoga, meditation, things that I heard about but didn't really do. And then it all kind of came together. Everything I was eating, my yoga, meditation practice, and I live a completely different life than I used to. And I feel great, and I feel healthy, and I feel vibrant every day of my life.
I couldn't be happier for you. I mean, I can't even imagine. When you changed to vegan, did you have a lot of naysayers, like, how dare you skip chemo and go to this way? You don't know what you're talking about. Did you get a lot of feedback like that?
You know, I actually didn't, because everyone in my circle, my family, my friends, they knew how much I had been suffering. They knew the amount of medication I was on, painkillers, steroids, muscle relaxers, the amount of times I had to go into the emergency room and get an IV drip of, strong medications. Like, they were through the entire thing. So when I said, I'm going to try a plant-based diet, they were like, do it, whatever it takes. And then when they saw me thriving, they were like, I converted a couple friends. They were like, I can't believe it. I did this 10-day vegan challenge, and I had, 20 plus people on it. And almost half of them went vegan and still are vegan. And they were like, oh my God, I wish I would have known about this sooner. Why didn't you tell me? And I was like, well, you saw me. You saw me change my life.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I'm so proud of you. Plus, the loss of 40 pounds probably took a lot of pressure off your spine and other ailments that you were suffering. And you're just like glowing. You're so beautiful and healthy.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm so, so happy for you. And so from there, you became so passionate about it that you first started a really fun company, and then you blossomed into Soul Food Collective. But your first company was called Single and Starving?
Starving and Single.
No, Starving and Single. Tell us about that.
Well, I've always been passionate about cooking, and I've also been passionate about dating. So in Los Angeles.
Hand in hand.
I was going on all of these crazy online dates, and the stories I would have, I'm like, I have to write a book about this, because people are not going to believe what I'm experiencing. Like, this is just absurd. So I started taking my dating experiences and pairing them with a recipe. One is called Mike's Meatballs, and it was a whole date around my homemade meatballs in the argument, and what ended up leading to us never seeing each other again. So that recipe was in there. And
was he a bit of a meathead?
What'd you say?
Was he a bit of a meathead?
Yeah, he was something else. But, and it was before I went vegan. So I started that, and it was just fun and whatever. And then when I did the whole transition and became vegan, I started SolFoodCollective. I ended up getting a certification to become a health coach because I'm like, I need to teach people how to do this. And I had done so much research on my own as it was, but I'm like, I'm going to get certified in this, have a little bit of, credibility, if you will. So I became certified, and that's when I started SolFoodCollective, and I was really big on the mind-body connection. So it started off as retreats. And I lived in a house in Burbank, and I had a big backyard and a ginormous lemon tree. And once a month, I would get people together, and we would do yoga meditation under the lemon tree. And then I would do food education, a little food demo, and serve a 3-course vegan meal. And that took off. People were loving that.
What an amazing story. And you got a lot of people probably converted. Did they come there already vegan, or had you kind of counseled them into changing their lifestyle?
Yeah, no, we had, most of the people were not vegan, but were interested in trying vegan food and had heard my story and just wanted to check it out. And, I'm going to grab a friend and go do this yoga meditation and eat. But I wasn't just doing like little salads and things. It was like a very people would come and carry your plate to the table. It was very fancy. The tables were beautiful. It was a communal table. And I would do a presentation with each meal saying, we have, beets and an aguachile, and then talk about like, what do beets do for you, and the aguachile and all of the components in that, and break it down. And for me, it's all about the food education. Because if you don't know what you're eating, if you don't know what it's doing for you, then you really kind of don't care, and you're not mindful, and you're not, you're just like, oh, I'll eat that, or I'll eat that. But when you start understanding, good or bad, what you're putting in your body, you start noticing a difference, and the difference in the choices that you make. So I really stress food education in all of my cooking classes that I'm doing now. Everyone is saying, they'll email me, they'll say, I really thought I was going to enjoy this because it's a cooking class, but I love the food education more than anything. Like, they start bringing their kids on, and they're taking notes on everything I'm saying while one person's cooking, because it truly is, you make a vegan Caesar salad. That's what we did last week. And everyone is just like, I had no idea that the Caesar dressing that is cashew based, 1 handful of cashews a day is equivalent to taking a Prozac without the side effects and price tag. You can literally decrease depression by eating cashews, which is the foundation of this Caesar dressing, along with capers, which are so good for you. I could go on about what capers can do for you and how it gets rid of all the byproducts of all of the garbage that causes cancer in the body. But all of that is in the salad dressing that tastes like Caesar dressing without the egg yolk and the mayo and all of the garbage that's normally in it.
Oh, that's unbelievable. That sounds delicious. And I was looking at all of your cooking classes, and we'll get into that in a second, but with the services offered from SolFoodCollective, you have so many things to offer. I was very interested in, well, obviously you have the consultations for your wellness. You sit people down. I was very interested in the 2-hour grocery shopping session. Where do you go? Do you go to a Whole Foods, and then you also add extra for the farmers markets, correct?
Yes. And this is really big because people don't understand what to buy, what to look for. And this came about because when I first went vegan, I would spend, I'm not joking, 2 to 3 hours in a grocery store reading every single ingredient on every label. If I didn't know what it was, or I couldn't pronounce it, I would have to look it up and say, okay, is this a vitamin that I don't know? Is it actually good for me? Or is this something I can't pronounce because it's really bad for me? And I would Google every single ingredient on anything that I was looking at buying. So I take people around and do grocery tours now that basically say, avoid this aisle entirely, shop around the perimeter. And if you do go it down the aisles, like flip it, if there's more than 5 ingredients, put it back on the shelf. And here's this is what this is, and I kind of like give them a little overview and steer them in the right direction and educate them on reading labels and brands that I like, and different ideas you can do with certain things when you find them, and staples, like things that you should always have on hand, like liquid aminos and rice vinegar and just nutritional yeast, and get them loaded up on all the staples. And usually with that, people will have me come and reorganize their pantry and the refrigerator and just get out like a donation box that they could, have their friends, hey, I'm no longer eating this, if you want to come grab it, and get rid of all of that junk and really fill their cupboards and refrigerators full of healthy food.
Oh, that's amazing. And there are so many misconceptions on the food labels. I was talking to a bodybuilder the other day, and, there's a lot of protein supplements that bodybuilders take. And he was getting a pea protein, and he happened to look, it was a cheaper version, and he looked at the back, and it was solid whey protein with a little bit of pea. So that was watered down with the whey, which made him actually, the mucus buildup and the water buildup was incredible. He didn't have the right, he's like, something's not right about this. So I don't know how food labels can get away with this, but it's great that you educate the people and to like shop the perimeter. I mean, so many of the bad foods are in the aisles, as we know. And now with quarantine and the pandemic, so many meat companies are not able to produce enough. So I think a lot of people, this is a way to kind of look towards veganism. Yep. And those burgers, those veggie burgers can be extremely delicious.
Yeah, we just had a couple weeks ago, we did a street taco class, and I introduced everyone to Beyond Meat burgers, because what I'm finding is it's really hard, for people that are just used to their meat all of the time to just go, boom, okay, I'm only doing plants, not doing any meat or meat substitutes. It's really hard. So I really try to help people transition. And that includes incorporating fake meat products like the Gardein chicken strips, obsessed with those, and the Beyond Meat, the ground beef. We made street tacos with it. And it's always funny because the wives are always on cooking, and then you'll see the husbands pacing back and forth in the background waiting for the food, and then they eat it. And I get emails every time after, or Instagram posts of everyone saying, my meat eating husband loved it. And it's because it's so, the fake meat now is so good. There's no excuse to eat real meat anymore. It's so good. It has protein. It doesn't, clog your arteries like meat does. It doesn't cause cancer like red meat does. It's just the meat alternatives now are mind blowing. So I started adding those into the recipes, but they're not something that you want to eat every single day of the week,
Absolutely.
It's a special treat. You really want to focus on, whole food.
Absolutely. And with that, you kind of triggered something. A lot of vegans, it seems so boring in the head, but I think the secret are the spices and what you put in them. Like I learned that from one of your little videos, that amino acids can completely replace soy sauce. Taste the same thing, much better. Or tamari, but amino acids can be better. And then I loved your chocolate peanut butter pudding. Oh my goodness. And that's simply made of cacao and chia seeds, correct?
Yeah, that chocolate peanut butter pudding is so powerful. Cacao has 40 times the antioxidants of blueberries. It's a superfood. It's something you should try to get in your diet every single day, whether you mix it with your milk in the morning and put it in your coffee. It is so good for you. And just mixing that with chia seeds that have all of the omegas that help lower inflammation, that sustain you and keep you full. And I mix a little bit of peanut butter, which is full of protein. That little peanut butter cup, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to make that. I haven't made that in a while.
Please do. And I was very interested in the cauliflower banh mi. That looked absolutely delicious. And you explained everything that's in it, and the presentation is absolutely gorgeous. I also was looking at the I can't remember which one, but with that, what you said. One of the Tennessee Titans' wives is a vegan chef, and she has gotten some of the linebackers on the team, on an NFL team, to eat vegan. I mean, she has, and again, it's the spices, it's the liquid smokes, because I myself I grew up in Wisconsin. I love grilling out and grilling meat. We grew up very, very healthy and a lot of veganism, but also still sometimes indulged in burgers and things like that, which totally goes against it. But what I miss that smoky taste. And I've realized when I roast vegetables, like the cruciferous and the root vegetables, and then I put liquid smoke on them, it tastes like grilled, like it tastes like a burger. Yeah. And there's so many different kinds of the liquid smoke. I mean, I think it's the secret is the spices and the presentation to kind of change people's minds. But there's no limit to what athletes can do with these diets. I mean, I'm a big boxing fan, and I know that Conor McGregor was beat by Nate Diaz because Nate Diaz is a vegan. And Conor McGregor said he had more energy. He just kept going and I was dead. So just the energy and mentality, and I'm sure you sleep better. Plus, it's increased libido, which I would think, a lot of men might be interested in. So, but can you tell us about some of the other services that you recommend or that you provide at SolFood Collective?
Yeah, I do wellness coaching, and everyone is like, well, what is a health or a wellness coach? Like, what are you going to do for me? It's the same thing as getting a personal trainer or going to see a therapist for your mind. We sit together, we look at, okay, what are your goals? Sometimes people are like, I'm pretty healthy. I kind of feel good. I just want some healthy recipes and, to kind of have someone hold me accountable. So that's kind of like the basic, like, okay, you're doing pretty good. Like, let's just, let's do some maintenance. But then you have people with all these underlying conditions and that have autoimmune and have hormone imbalances and just have chronic pain. And those are the people that, I do coaching sessions with. So we sit down and we talk about it. What's going on? What does your life look like right now? Because, actually the food that we eat is actually our secondary foods. Our primary foods are everything else. It's our career, it's our finances, it's our home cooking, it's our spirituality, it's our, social life, it's all of those things. So we look at your primary foods and say, okay, why are you like this right now? And what can we do to make it better? So I don't just fling vegan recipes at you. We sit and we talk about it like, what does your life look like? Okay, let's start a meditation practice for you. Baby steps, little things at a time that slowly build up. And over the course of 3 to 6 months that we work together, by the end of it, like, you are so healthy, you're sleeping, the night sweats are gone, the irritability is gone, you feel great, you feel light, you're vibrating at a whole other level, not only because you're eating well and treating your body well, but you've also adjusted your lifestyle. You're getting more sleep, you started a meditation practice or just a mindfulness practice, you're going on walks to clear your mind, you're stretching during the, so whatever it is that you're doing, you're making a lifestyle change. This isn't just a quick fix, give me some recipes, I'm going to do it for 3 weeks and be done. That you're changing your life. And that's so important, that if you're not feeling well and you have all of these health issues, you have to make a change. And I think what sets me apart from other people doing this is that I, like other vegans and vegan chefs, is I've lived through this. Okay. I've lived through the pain and the suffering and all of the medications and doctor's visits and medical bills and the highs and the lows, and then going vegan and getting frustrated and starting meditating and wanting to throw in the towel because I couldn't focus. I've been there for all the highs and lows. I've been through it. I've lived it, and I can help you. I can help you overcome the struggles. I can help you lower your inflammation. I can help you feel better, and I can just help you feel good every single day. It's possible.
And you educate. You don't just throw turmeric at them. You tell them what turmeric does. It lowers inflammation. What does that do? Well, inflammation, as we know, is one of the biggest triggers for cancer and all of these things. I myself, before every meal, shoot turmeric with apple cider vinegar. Nice. Do you recommend anything else besides that? Or like ginseng?
Well, turmeric, actually, you have to pair it with black pepper. Black pepper.
I do. I just read that 3 months ago, and now I've been doing that.
It has to be paired with black pepper, so that way it's more bioavailable for your body. And you also have to pair it with a fat carrier. It's fat soluble. So in order for you to bypass the liver, for it to get into your bloodstream, it has to have a fat carrier with it. So like an oil or coconut.
Vitamin D is what I'm taking.
What is it?
Is it vitamin D?
Vitamin D is great.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Vitamin D, pair it with K2. It works best that way when those two are paired together, little things like that. But yes, it's all about the education. And that's what I really like about the cooking classes too, is, people always want me to meal prep for them. And I do offer that service. However, you won't learn and change unless you're forced to do something yourself. And cooking meals yourself, and just that energy that goes into cooking the meal is a whole other part of healing in itself. It's like you can have two people standing there making the exact same dish and they're going to taste different because of the energy that goes into the food. So just doing that and putting your energy into the food that you're eating, and understanding, like, while you're massaging your kale, oh my God, this is so good for me. And I remember Jacquelyn saying it's the most nutrient dense food on the planet, and it's providing my body with copper that I don't really get from anything else. And I need that copper because it does. And just remembering all of that every time you go to eat it, and that you're lowering inflammation by eating that, it's a game changer.
Hence your name, Soul Food Collective. You're putting your soul into the food, soul food. That's wonderful. Plus, you're teaching them how to fish for themselves. You're not just throwing a meal plan at them. You need to know, and I think that's a real success, that you're going to coach them, and then they're going to know that they wouldn't need you anymore, even though, that's kind of the whole purpose of the teaching. And your final goal, Jacquelyn, you wish to have your own health and wellness show, correct?
Yes, I do. I really want my own health and wellness show. I just think if I could get on the TV, and, I was already on the Food Network on the Great Food Truck Race, and that really, I had a lot of amazing emails when that aired, of all of the people that were like, I would sit there and read emails and just bawl my eyes out, of all of these people with so many health conditions there. I want you to help me. I love what you're doing. You're so, everything you're doing is so amazing, and I need your help. And just those emails I got just from that very short period of time that I was on that show, I'm like, what if I had my own wellness show on the Food Network of educating people on these foods? How many people and how many lives I could change that way. So that is the goal. I just want to be able to reach so many people and help so many people.
And there are some vegan chefs on there, but they don't educate, and they have a much different sort of brand than you do. And I think you're very needed. Obviously, you won that first episode, and you already showed your conviction and belief in being vegan by turning down the $50,000, and you beat Nola. And I'm glad you're still friends, and happy birthday to Mary. Well, I am so thrilled to have had you on here, and I'm so appreciative. I will put all the links for everyone to see all of your videos and how they can get in touch with you. Is it anything else as far as what your goals are, how we can support you longer?
I think just, showing up, my cooking classes are all donation based. It's whatever, you feel you can afford, and just take that step and come to class and start educating yourself. Check out coaching programs. I would love to help you. And I also just have, cooking videos on YouTube, some quick, fun, easy cooking videos. My dogs make a little cameo every now and then.
What's the dog's name?
I have Hank and Stanley.
Hank and Stanley, they sound like great sous chefs. Now, final question. Let's just say somebody is in rural Nebraska, big meat eater, and they're very, very passionate about doing something like you and having that lifestyle. Would you be able to do a private Zoom with them?
Oh, yeah.
Coaching?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
And that'll all be available with your contact information, and they can contact you there.
Yeah, SolFoodCollective.com. I have that free 30-minute consult that we can hop on, figure out, if what I have works for you. Everything is customizable. Everyone is different. So every program I have, that's kind of like the guideline for what you're going to get, but everyone is different. So we just, work accordingly.
You're doing amazing work, and I'm so proud of you for taking your health in your own hands and being your own health advocate. You look beautiful. You seem like you're just so healthy and vibrant. I'm very excited that you were able to turn your life around like that, and look at what you're doing with it. And I can pretty much guarantee, just use that networking from the Food Network and just keep going. And I'll share some stuff offline with you too. So, keep it going. And again, folks, it is Soul Food Collective, but spelled SOL. So SolFood Collective.com. And you can see all the videos, and I'll put everything with the links below. Have a wonderful day, Jacquelyn. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for helping me spread my message.
And that was Jacquelyn Jones of Soul Food Collective. She offers clients one-on-one holistic support for overall wellness, integrating the methods she used on her journey. And whether you're looking to reverse symptoms due to an autoimmune-related disease, have chronic pain and inflammation, or poor gut health, or you just want some ideas to improve your health, she is here to help. And again, I've included the links below to Soul Food Collective. Thanks for listening to the 5th episode of SoCal Sweat.